Denny Hamlin just said what a huge chunk of NASCAR fans have been screaming for years: bring the All-Star race back to a real short track. Not a polished corporate oval, not another experiment, a brutal old-school battleground where drivers actually have to fight the wheel. And the moment Denny Hamlin threw out Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway as the answer, fans exploded with excitement. But then came the reality check. Fox insider Bob Pockrass basically slammed the brakes on the entire dream by revealing the track may not even be remotely ready until 2028, maybe later. And suddenly, what sounded like NASCAR's perfect throwback moment is starting to look like another stalled revival project. Here's what actually happened. Right after the All-Star race at Dover Motor Speedway, Hamlin openly pushed the idea that NASCAR needs to get back to its roots for exhibition racing. His argument was simple: if the All-Star race is supposed to feel wild and unpredictable, then it belongs on a tight, short track where drivers can lean on each other and tempers boil over fast. And honestly, he's not wrong. The Nashville Fairgrounds has everything fans romanticize about classic NASCAR. It's narrow, it's aggressive, it's chaotic. Drivers love it because mistakes actually matter there. Aero advantage disappears, talent shows up, patience disappears by lap 20. Kind of racing many fans believe NASCAR has been missing. But according to Pockrass, there's one massive problem nobody can ignore. The track is nowhere near Cup Series ready. The renovation proposal tied to Speedway Motorsports reportedly sits somewhere between $60 and $100 million. And we're not talking about cosmetic upgrades. The fairgrounds still needs safer barriers, accessibility improvements, grandstand renovations, sound mitigation projects, and major infrastructure work just to meet modern standards. Even if approval happened tomorrow, construction alone could take around 18 months. That's why the idea of hosting the 2027 All-Star race there suddenly looks extremely unrealistic. And this is where the story gets bigger than just Denny Hamlin. Because what we're really watching is NASCAR battling the same problem that's been haunting the sport for decades. History is expensive. Fans love historic racetracks. Cities and investors don't always feel the same way. Look at North Wilkesboro Speedway. That track became a ghost town after NASCAR abandoned it in the 90s. It sat rotting for years before nostalgia finally became profitable enough to justify comeback. Look at Auto Club Speedway. One of NASCAR's biggest venues got swallowed by California real estate economics. The massive oval disappeared, warehouses moved in, and the promised short track rebuild still hasn't fully materialized. Even tracks that survive keep fighting political and neighborhood pressure constantly. Noise complaints, traffic concerns, environmental battles, curfews, lawsuits, it never stops. And Nashville Fairgrounds is dealing with all of it right now. Local residents have pushed back heavily against the project for years. There's concern about traffic around Geodis Park. There's concern about noise. There's concern about future development opportunities around the area. Suddenly, this isn't just a racing conversation anymore. It's politics, money, infrastructure, and city planning all colliding together. That's why Hamlin's vision sounds easy on social media, but becomes incredibly complicated in real life. Now here's where the analysis gets interesting. Strategically, Hamlin is absolutely reading the fan base correctly. NASCAR has spent years trying to manufacture excitement through gimmicks, package changes, stage formats, and experimental venues. But fans keep sending the same message back. The sport feels best when drivers are uncomfortable. Short tracks create pressure naturally. You don't need artificial drama at Martinsville Speedway. You don't need fake tension at Bristol Motor Speedway. The track itself creates chaos because drivers run out of room, patience, and tires all at once. Hamlin understands that the All-Star race should feel dangerous again. Not physically dangerous, competitively dangerous. Drivers should leave angry, crew chiefs should gamble, fans should feel like a fight might break out at any second. That's what made old NASCAR feel alive, and from a business standpoint, NASCAR also knows nostalgia currently sells extremely well. North Wilkesboro proved that. The return of that race became one of the sport's biggest emotional wins in years because it felt authentic. Fans didn't just watch a race, they watched NASCAR reconnect with its identity. That's exactly why the fairgrounds idea gained traction instantly. But there's also serious risk here. If NASCAR rushes the project before the infrastructure is ready, the backlash could be brutal. Safety standards today are non-negotiable. The Cup Series cannot race at a facility that lacks modern protections and accommodations. And politically, NASCAR can't afford another messy public fight with local governments while trying to expand its audience. That's why Charlotte Motor Speedway suddenly becomes the safest backup option again. It's easy, it's proven. NASCAR knows it can host a smooth all-star weekend there with minimal controversy. North Wilkesboro also remains viable because the revival already succeeded once. And Bowman Gray Stadium could enter the picture too if NASCAR decides to move the clash elsewhere. So now NASCAR faces a major philosophical decision. Do they keep chasing the emotional connection fans crave? Or do they prioritize stability and logistics over nostalgia? Because those two things are colliding hard right now, and fans are completely split on it. Some fans hear Nashville Fairgrounds and instantly think this is exactly what NASCAR needs: gritty racing, historic atmosphere, old school intensity. Others think the sport keeps getting trapped in nostalgia instead of building sustainable modern venues for the future. Even analysts are divided. One side sees Hamlin as a driver fighting to preserve NASCAR's soul. The other side sees another unrealistic fan service project running into financial and political reality. Now let's talk future scenarios. Best case, the city finally approves the renovation. Speedway Motorsports moves aggressively. Construction stays on schedule, and NASCAR lands the All-Star race there by 2028. If that happens and the racing delivers, it could become one of the sport's signature events almost immediately. Worst case, the project drags to endless council meetings, neighborhood opposition grows louder, costs rise even higher, and NASCAR eventually walks away entirely. At that point, the fairgrounds becomes another what could have been story in stock car racing history. And honestly, NASCAR has too many of those already, because this debate isn't really about one race. It's about what kind of sport NASCAR wants to become moving forward. Does the future of NASCAR still live in loud, cramped short tracks packed with history, or has the sport already moved too far into the corporate era to fully go back? That's the question hanging over all of this right now. So what do you think? Should NASCAR do everything possible to bring the All-Star race to Nashville Fairgrounds, even if it takes years to make it happen? Or should the sport stop chasing nostalgia and focus on modern venues instead? Drop your take in the comments, and if you want more NASCAR breakdowns with real analysis and zero fluff, make sure you're locked in to SPORTSWIRE USA.